Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, what a beautiful day at West Point. Man, I haven't been outside yet. I saw that sunshine out there. Pretty nice, huh, Rich? Um, Happy to have gotten a win this past weekend in Tulsa. Really proud of our guys. Um, it was tough battle there to start the ball game, and when they had that long drive, I think it was 16 plays, 75 yards. I recall seeing, they kind of played our brand of football, just ran the ball and methodically moved the ball down the field, and thought we were in for a dogfight. Just proud of the way our guys answered that, and how well our defense did from that point forward of getting them off the field. We had some third down opportunities that we it didn't convert on as a defense. Allowed Tulsa to move the chains. Got them in some fourth down situations. We were able to stop them several times on fourth down, which were big plays for us. But just the team just continuing to rally and to fight and to get a score before halftime was big, and to stretch the lead to 14 points, and just happy with the way our guys played in the second half. I thought that was a good response to what I thought was maybe not the best of our performances overall as a team in the first half. So it's good to get a win, to get a conference win, and now we look forward to coming back home here after being on the road for a couple of weeks to play UAB.
Rich, you want to start us off?
Hey, Coach, Rich Monken on the radio. What's the most challenging thing about being 5-0?
It's the same challenge this week as it is every week. It's hard to win a football game, and frankly, it's particularly hard at West Point. All of the all you got to do is turn on the film and watch the other teams, their athleticism and their size and their ability to execute, and it makes it a real challenge for us. And then just the fact that at this point in the season, our team starts to get really fatigued. The academic rigors of West Point, the probably the limited sleep hours, recovery, just the wear and tear of a season, injuries. And we've got to be really careful about how we practice and how long we practice, so that our guys are healthy and fresh for Saturday. But that's, those are the same challenges that we face every year about this time of year. But from a standpoint of just playing a game, it's been like that since game one, and it'll be like that as we continue through the season. It's hard to win a game at this level and beat a college football opponent. And there's guys on scholarship, and they're well coached, and they're trained and ready and prepared. And so we're just going to try to do the best we can to play hard, to play well, to execute our assignments and fundamentals, so that we can close the gap in terms of the physical matchups.
Yeah. Look at this year, and sure, you can pick out in games, hey, the first half wasn't as good in this game, hey, the second half of that game. But they've been pretty complete performances each of these 5 games. Is there something specific you can point to that this team had, that for a reason they've been able to click this way, and over 60 minutes each game, give here and there, put together these kind of performances consistently?
I think our team is well led from within. Our captains are doing an excellent job. Our seniors, I can't say enough about the just the leadership, the stability that Cody Winokur brings to our locker room. And that if somebody asked about a leader in the locker room, that may not be the first name they'd expect me to say, but this is a guy that has been through a lot in his career in the Army, and has served with the 10th Mountain Division, just the maturity and the growth that I've seen out of him, and the calmness and confidence that he has in his leadership role. I mean, he's not a starter. He doesn't play the most snaps of any of the guys up front on defense, but just the trust that our guys have in him, he's doing a great job. And Max and Kyle and Bryson, each one of those guys individually, their personalities and the way that they lead, they all complement each other very well. And I think each one of them in their own right is doing a really good job. So I think that's that's a strength for us. There's a determination in this team, and a drive in this team that I think is uncommon, and it's fun to see them go out there every day at practice and really work. And you know, I always chuckle. I hear people say, "Oh, he comes to work every day." Well, anybody's got a job comes to work every day. You know, do they put the work in? Do they put the effort in? Do they have a great attitude? Are they trying to help others be better because of their performance and their effort? And I think we've got a team that really cares about each other, and they feel compelled to do their best because of their loyalty to the team. And most teams I've been a part of that had that spirit have been fairly successful teams.
Connor, kick us off on Zoom.
Cool. Seth, you can start us off.
Good afternoon, Coach. Great game again. Very exciting to see the team do well. Two questions. Number one is, tell us a little about what you know about UAB and what you'll be, how the team is planning ahead for this game.
Certainly just their athleticism, watching them on film. We've watched a good bit of film already on them, starting on the plane ride home from the game on Saturday. We watch our game film, and the coaches put together grades, and I have a chance to buzz through that myself. And what I'm really anxious for, and I know our coaches are, is getting on to the next game and looking at the next opponent. And so they are very athletic. They're really big on the offensive line. A good-looking bunch of skill players. Their defense maybe as athletic as we faced this entire season. And so it presents challenges, just the way that we try to match up with teams that are as athletic as they are.
You mentioned about the team, the fatigue that happens every year at this time, and I understand that. On the other hand, you have a team that's 5-0, and the kids got to be excited, and that's got to be a little bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, I'm sure they're excited to get out there. It's fun. They're playing their best. On the other hand, you have to always worry about overconfidence.
Overconfidence at Army. I mean, you've seen us play a lot of football. You've watched us practice at times. We've got nothing to be overconfident about. We're hanging on by the seat of our pants. And so we're trying to fight to do the best we can to play our assignments and play well fundamentally, because if we don't, we're going to get embarrassed. And that's just a fact. And UAB is athletic enough. They've got enough guys on their team. Just watch them. I mean, watch the game at Arkansas. Arkansas just beat Tennessee on Saturday night, and their fans rushed the field, and they're celebrating a huge win. Well, about 2 weeks before, UAB's got them on the ropes, and had the lead to start the game and had it tied up late. And I mean, this team's perfectly capable. So overconfidence, that doesn't happen here. We don't have the kind of team or players that we can be overconfident.
Thank you, Coach. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I said I'm not.
We'll go to Joe Iacano.
Hey, Coach Monken, great win on Saturday. First question, it was another game, and I think this certainly wasn't the first time this season where the offense had three different players over 100 yards. Bryson Daly, 110 yards rushing, Kanye Udo, 137 yards rushing, and Noah Short, 121 yards receiving, which is a little different than the rushing stats we usually see. But you know, at Army throughout the years, since you've been there running a version of this offense, Army traditionally has been strong at maybe one or two facets of the triple option, really good fullback dive, or maybe really good quarterback. This year, it seems like really all three options and even the fourth option of a play action pass seems to really be cranking pretty well. Can you speak to the balance of your offense and maybe how that's keeping opposing defenses off balance a little bit?
Well, I'm not sure you'd call 6 passes in a game balanced. It just we just happened to hit them, and they were for big plays. Um, what we want to do is run the football on offense, and I think it's the fact that we've had to utilize some different parts of our offense, and fortunately, they've worked. We've been able to run the ball effectively. Saturday's a good example where we threw the ball and we completed all of our passes. We hit some big plays, but I think at FAU, that's a while ago, where we 1 out of 4 throwing. I mean, we weren't throwing it very. Was that the stats? Somebody help
I
me on
think two for five, maybe.
for 5. Well, okay, maybe we were 2 for 5.
The one was the touchdown. I know that.
Yeah, the one to know. Our who hit that one? Casey Reynolds. That's right, over the top. That was early on. It's a long time ago, but there's 5 passes. I don't know if I'd call that a balanced attack. It's just we've been able to hit some of those play action passes because we run the ball. And when we run the ball and it's effective, obviously other defenses are trying to defend that part of our scheme. And it hopefully, if we can protect it, will open up an opportunity for us to complete a play action pass and maybe soften them up or hit a big play. So I think Cody Worley's doing a great job. He's doing an outstanding job of preparing our guys, having our quarterback ready to make good decisions, and so I think he's worked very hard to have some options to utilize the run and the pass and different players on our team to be able to execute. And all we're trying to do is get to the winner's circle every week, and fortunately, we've been able to do that.
And my follow-up and final question, Coach. I'm sure you can pick out a lot of things that the team can do better. From a lot of folks' standpoint, though, it looks like a pretty complete team in most of the 5 games. Maybe one exception that's pretty glaring error is 3 muff punts, won 2 games in a row. What are you guys doing to work on that? Or are you looking at different personnel back there potentially? Or are there some technical things you're looking to try and improve? Hasn't really hurt you yet because you've been able to recover all 3 of those, but obviously that could be a critical error going forward.
Yeah, I'm thinking about not putting anybody back there at all. That I can't muff the punt if nobody's back there. So we'll do our best to try to get our guys to catch that thing clean. It's not easy to catch a ball that is that high and sometimes not real consistent in terms of the way it's coming to you. And some guys have a great knack for it. So hopefully we'll get Trey or Mays or Weaver or one of those guys that can field it and do a good job with it. But I hate to see that thing on the ground. It's scary that we've had those incidents, and obviously those could have gone the other way, and certainly changed the game. That one at Temple was down there with our backs to the wall. So fortunately we got them back, but we've got to improve that area for sure. Daryl Dixon coaches the returners. He did that in college, and and has coached that position for us the entire time he's been here and done it pretty much his whole career. He's really good at it, good at teaching it, but he's not the one out there catching them. The guys he's coaching have to go out there and execute it. So we're going to try to improve that.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Ken Krater.
Good afternoon, Coach. We're down at the American Athletic Conference Media Day. Trent Dilfer, their coach, spoke and gave a very high energy talk. He's obviously had a terrific NFL career as a quarterback, won a Super Bowl. What is your experience been with Coach Dilfer and what he brings?
That was the first time I met Coach Dilfer, was at the conference meetings. Obviously had a great NFL career, had a tremendous career as a high school coach, and he's very short into his tenure at UAB and building that. And I listened to his press conference, and I can tell by his voice that he's very frustrated right now. And if you rewind about 9 years ago, you'd probably see a Jeff Monken sitting here at this table, very frustrated with where we were at, and it's it's difficult to build a program and to operate a program, and I'm certain all of the new challenges facing college football programs and maybe particularly at the group of 5 level, the turnover within your rosters and the changes each year to build that comes with some unique challenges, and I'm sure he's facing that. So he's he's obviously a great competitor, and you've seen his team compete at a really high level as they did against Arkansas, and so very capable team, guys that he's recruited and developed, and they're those guys he's got on his team, they're going to compete just like ours, and I expect it to be a highly competitive game because they got a highly competitive guy coaching their team.
Coach, their quarterback, Jacob Zeno, completes a high percentage of his pass, 69%, 82 of 118, 204 yards a game. What do you see in their quarterback?
He does a really good job distributing the ball, and he's been elusive for a guy that throws the ball and completes passes like that. He gets in trouble, gets himself out of trouble. He had a couple plays against Tulane where he got flushed and got outside the pocket and found a receiver. He had some where the pocket collapsed. He was able to step up kind of into traffic and deliver a throw. Made a really nice throw down in the red zone late in the game and completed a pass, which gave him a chance to score a touchdown. So he's a good player, and I know Coach Dilfer is really encouraged by him and his play, and he's got a strong set of skill players around him, the running backs, receivers, and so as I said, they're going to have some weapons and some guys that can run, check track times of their players and check track times of ours. Seth asked about overconfidence. That scares the heck out of me.
They played Navy. Does that help their defense, having played an option type of team before? Do you think they've learned something from playing Navy earlier in the season?
I think anytime that a team has an opportunity to face a unique offense like ours, they're going to learn lessons, and it may be how they defend us and the structure of their defense, tweaking and changing and improving. It may be making some major changes, just as how they want to attack us and how they want to defend us. We obviously don't know what we're going to see on Saturday. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Temple played Navy early in the year, and they played a particular defense and came out against us and played a different defense. And so I don't know if that'll be the case this week or not. That's yet to be seen.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Ken McMillan.
Hi, Jeff. This year, Army has scored on its first possession 5 times and on the second possession 4 times. What are you doing right? What's going on?
We've just been able to execute in the opening drive. Um, I think, again, that goes back to what maybe I just talked about was the uniqueness of the offense. It's difficult for defenses or I should say scout teams to prepare a defense for that, the speed of it, because it is so different. It to take guys in your program and say, here's an offense we're going to run this week. It's different from the offenses you've been simulating the rest of the year. It's different from our own offense, the one you're trained in, and we've got to prepare our defense to do that. And I think what happens in games often is we're able to see some early success with teams that may not be as familiar with it. But as the game goes along, it slows down for the defense, and typically they do a better job of defending us as the game goes along. So that may be one reason that we've been able to have some early success in ball games. But our guys they're playing hard. They're trying as hard as they can, and we've just been able to make some plays. And Saturday we had the big pass play that allowed us to get that first touchdown, and we didn't score in the second drive. It was again they get accustomed to seeing the actions and the angles and the speed of it, and so I hope it'll last. Hoping we can continue to do that.
Jeff, I know you touched on this a few minutes ago with Seth, but is there a danger of facing a struggling team? And are you ever afraid that they might just come out with something totally different to kind of break their skid?
I don't know how I can phrase it anymore. I'm scared to death every week about every team we face. I mean, every team we've faced so far this year has had access to recruiting every player in our program. However, we don't have access to recruiting every player in any of the programs that we face this year. So the players that they have in their program, the athletes that they have in their program, we don't match up with those guys physically. Collectively, we got some talented guys on our team. I'm not discounting the fact that we don't have some talented players. We do. But we don't have access to all the guys that everybody in college football has access to. So they're going to have really good players. And so every week when I watch a team, I'm scratching my head trying to figure out how we're going to match up with the skilled players that they have, with the size of the linemen that they have. So that's just being frank, Ken.
No, I guess my question is more like, remember how you threw the curveball at Coastal and you just ran the ball crazy? Could you ever expect a team to just sort of go totally against what you've seen on the tapes?
Sure, that could happen. It's difficult to prepare for what we might see because I guess the sky's the limit there. They could do anything, imaginable. But what gives a team the best chance to succeed? Doing what they've been trained to do, doing what they do most often. What we did last year against Coastal wasn't completely different from what we had been doing. Mm-hmm. We put our hands under the center at quarterback, but we still ran many of the same plays. We still ran the zone. We ran that from the gun. Still ran power, ran that from the gun. We added a midline element, which we hadn't run from the gun, but we'd been running read option plays. So that wasn't as big a change for our guys. And it's something that our veteran players had some experience in. So I don't know that UAB is going to go to the triple option this week. But maybe they'll do some things that they haven't been as, I guess, accustomed. I shouldn't say that. Just haven't showed as much. Maybe they add some plays. Maybe they do some things differently. Maybe they change their tempo. I don't know. We'll see.
Jeff, we've talked to Bryson Daly all year. We've talked to you about Bryson, but can you tell us one thing or two things about Bryson that maybe we don't know, or stuff behind the scenes?
I don't know. You guys do a pretty good job of prying that out of them. And Eric does a good job of sharing most of the stories about our guys. Bryson's a coach's kid, and so he grew up around the game of football, and his whole family is involved in football, coaching football and playing football, and it's a football family, and he loves the game of football. He loves to play it, loves to compete. He's a good leader. He's a tough leader. Very unselfish. Could care less if he throws it, runs it, gives it to somebody else were to play quarterback in place of him. He wants to be in there, but he wants to win. More than anything else, he wants to win. And that's the best thing about him. Guys like that, that just care about winning, don't care about stats or who is in the ball game. They're great team guys, and they help their teammates win. And that's just who he is. He just happens to be our starting quarterback and the best quarterback we've got right now. And so that's a plus for us. He's in there making plays. He's able to be in the huddle every play, leading that team and showing that fiery competitiveness that he has when he's out there on the field.
Jeff, last thing, looking at the depth chart for this week, 5 changes off of the 2 deep, Parker Pulaski, David Hoyt, Baylor Newsome, Jackson Hammond, and Gavin Shields are not listed this week for whatever reason, and you have 5 other players in. Can you give us any insight as to the changes are due to injury, or you've just seen something?
Jackson's healthy. We maybe have had him listed as a third. Maybe he was a second, but he's kind of been in the same spot on the depth chart. He's healthy and fine. The other guys have been injured. The status of all 4 of them, a little uncertain on some of those guys for this weekend. So the other guys that play those positions, or maybe we're the third string guy, or we moved guys from a second at one position to a second at another, are really because that's what we anticipate, or where we anticipate them being when we go into Saturday. But there's the 4 guys you mentioned. A couple of those guys probably could play on Saturday, and we'll see how the week goes. A couple of those guys probably won't play on Saturday, and we'll see how it goes throughout the season.
Anything we should know about the 5 guys you moved up? Teddy Williams, Harry Appleton, Adam Cash, Justin Weaver, and Stefan Nadozi.
They're all very eager to play and enthusiastic about the opportunity. I like all 5 of those guys. Great guys. Stephen Nadozi was, before he got injured in preseason camp, was in a starting role, and so I expect he'll, hopefully as he kind of gets back in the groove of playing and knocks the rust off, we'll get himself back in the mix there.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
We'll go over to John. We'll go to Sal.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, Sal. Thanks.
I just have one question for you. Could we see the debut of Tyrell Robinson on Saturday?
We're still waiting to find out. I think it's a possibility, but that's not my call, and I don't want it to be my call. That's for our medical staff, our doctors and trainers to make that decision. And so when he's ready, when they feel he's ready and he feels he's ready, we'll have him out there. But it could be this weekend, but we still got some evaluations to do this week, and that's how close it is. It really is just evaluating him every day and making that determination.
Could he be the answer in the return game if he can get on the field?
He's certainly a guy that's got a lot of experience doing that at punt returner. So I anticipate when he comes back and is healthy that job will likely be his.